strange times we have right now. People are asking, what do we practice for when there's really nothing to practice for? Like the shoe lifts haven't come out, and you've got things that you want to make. There's things that you've got to make, and it's just one of those things that I think that you can't really go wrong with a left or a right Roadster. And people dread making Roadsters because there's flogging on Roadsters. So I think that you can get the same kind of forging exercise out of a piece of half by 3/4 by 11 inches long, because you've already got a little in the toe, you've already got a little in each heels, and it's the forging process and making it look like a hind foot. We're just going to do each step each day, and then that way in the comment section we can talk about, people can ask what's going on with, or what's going wrong with their piece that they're going to be making, and then you can just keep up, follow along, or you don't have to do anything at all. But we're going to do the toe bend, and the toe bend today is going to be, I broke it up in a third, so 11 inches. It's about 3 5/8, just a skosh more than 3 5/8 is a third and a third and a third. So no, all I'm going to do is visually, I'm going to heat it up in the center. I'm going to try and get as close as I can to the center when I heat it up, because of one reason, is that there's no way a person can be perfect. Well, there's a few people out there that do pretty good perfect, but I don't. So what I do is I like to bump in the center, and then I rely on me being imperfect and having the bump accumulate more in one area and the other, and then that automatically becomes my inside and my outside. So I'll show you what I mean. We're gonna go ahead and stick it in there, and we're gonna get it hot. But first, I want to show you. A lot of people, when you come to the WCBs, and when you come, people, and I don't really care how much coke you burn. The coke is there. We know how much coke we're going to use at these contests. But people stack in the coke because it's free. So they're like, and I know how you are when you're at home, because I know how people are when they come to my shop, is they scrape coke over because they're not used to having the actual falling in of the coke. And if you have your coke banked up on the edges and have your little gopher hole in the center, you have a beautiful fire. What people do is they get cheap when they're at home, and they let their fire get flat, and then they're scraping to build their fire. And so the bottom line is that then they come to the WCBs and they bank it because it's free coke. It's wonderful, it's free, and they have tons of it. And then they can't find the center of their fire, and then they burn their stuff up. So do as you do at home. If you have a flat, hollowed out fire, then you probably better, and you're used to working like that, then do it at the WCBs or where you're going. And if you have a nice banked up fire, it really doesn't take any more coke for either one. It's just the start. If you put 2 bags of coke in the fire, you're not going to burn any more, because you're going to have your fire shut way down. So I've really not found that I waste coke or I do anything by the type of fire I build. I just prefer a nice little gopher hole in the center with it mounted up to where it actually caves in and feeds itself. Whether you bump this way or this way depends on which corners you got. I like to start off like this, hitting, and just try and be as controlled as possible. Everybody tries to take big swings. As controlled as possible and coming right out of your eye. Alright, you can see I've got more material bumped up to this side. I have more material down here, more up here. So this is definitely going to be my medial side. I'll crack my toe, and then we will, the reason I want to have a pretty long bump is everybody thinks the center's where you want it to bump, but if you're creating wedges like a taper this way and a taper this way, you need extra material to create that taper. So not all the material needs to go in the toe, but a lot of it needs to go where the first and second nail hole is. So we'll make the toe bend. All right, we're gonna start right here, and we're gonna try and focus most of the bend to the medial toe. So I'm sticking here, stick here, and then come around. Do it one more time. You can see I've got a nice arc starting. I don't want to pinch it. I'm pushing with my tongs, and I'm gonna hit right where it comes off the gap. And then I'll do the same for the other side. Push up to where I've got a gap and bring my hammer and don't pinch it. Seat out the inside edge. And don't quit. Don't quit right here. Come here and just keep working this here so you can begin that taper. You can see I've not made contact with the whole section yet with the hammer. Again, I'll come back here. I'm gonna get closer to the tip of the toe, and I'm gonna pull. I'm not hitting there, I'm pushing, and I'm hitting out in daylight. And then I'll turn right around and do the same thing here. Push to where I've got contact. I've got most of my contact is right here. That allows this to have daylight right there. And pull that down. All right. At this point, I have to decide whether I'm going to make a left or a right roadster, and I'm going to make a left roadster. So what that's going to be is I hold it, the long end down, and seat it out. I want to hang my toe on the edge of the anvil, make a line that goes straight through it, and it's just like I'm using a picture frame. I'm putting my nail right there on the edge of the back edge of the anvil, and I'm sitting here and I make sure my toe is pretty symmetrical. All right, with your toe bend, you have to understand that approximately this much of that toe bend does not exist. I mean, as far as that branch goes, that much of that branch doesn't exist. You want to have your toe in the center, and then your wedge is going to come from the top of the material, so you're not losing any length on the medial side. So the medial side grows at such a more rapid rate, and it's dressed up because your medial branch will sit pretty much on the foot, and then your lateral branch, the foot will sit inside the branch. So you need way more material to cover the circumference of and the arc of the foot. I think this is where we stop, and then we'll go on to the medial branch tomorrow. So make a toe bend. This is going to be a roadster. It's going to be a left roadster. Post your toe bend. If you're having problems or you just don't see how it's coming along, post any questions you have along with your picture on our Facebook page, and we'll see how many people we can drag along with this exercise. And then tomorrow, we'll start off with the medial branch, drawing it out. We'll talk to you tomorrow.